Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you America's top foundational health coach, Dr. Joe D.
Hey there, I am Dr. Jody Bear. I'm coming hot of being back from Greece. We decided we were going to give the background just one more feeling because it has so much to do, ladies and gentlemen, about our topic today. Welcome to Doctor Talk. Come play in our health sandbox where I have the most renowned people and healers and true health professionals. CEO of Next Level Recovery, Renee Brown, Dr. Bill Janicek, DC, LMNOP, and every initial functional medical medicine man without the medicine, chiropractor, Dr. Glenn Detke, that takes the medicine to the next level with his one-of-a-kind renowned training and nutrition, and of course, Dr. Mike Van Thielen, who's going to be talking today. Acupuncture physician, PhD, but the most important thing, he's going to be talking about breathwork. Why are we doing this topic in October? We're putting the elephant in the room. Why are we doing that? Anxiety. Anxiety is everywhere, but we're going to talk about this through the 6 pillars of health: spiritual. Then we go to mental, emotional, physical, financial, and social. And when you treat anything in what we do, Dr. Bill calls it real medicine. That is so true. We get to the root of the cause. That's what I've been doing for now 49 years. In my practice, I had over 1.1 million pounds of toxic fat lost. A lot of it was getting anxiety out of my client patients. 1,876 babies that are walking around this world. And some of them are actually calling me Dr. Grandma Jody now because of anxiety. These couples weren't able to conceive. I've said to my partner and co-founder of Healthopedia, I'd love to be somebody's first resort rather than their last resort, but any resort is good. Just decide that you're going to hear today about anxiety. You're going to hear about the first resource of what you can do, things that are simple, easy, effective, but they only work when you do, because we're here to help. We want to add value to your life. We want to have this fourth quarter be the best it can be. And the best thing it can be is getting rid of anxiety. So are you ready to go? Let's go where we can actually show you how you can know that life, and life happens, kind of like one of the lights just fell off in my studio here. We know that life happens, but you get to choose. You get to choose your response. And when you can choose it, as traditional Chinese medicine talks about it being spirit and soul are on the bookends between mental, the mind, and body, the physical. Let's go in and put some soul in your goal. With anxiety, it's going to be rid by you and me. So our first commercial sponsor, I really want to give Renee Brown and her husband, Michael, their due. Let's just take a look, take a listen to what they're doing for the underserved population in Medical Mindshare.
From the well-known brands of Next Level Recovery and Sober Living Properties, Michael and Renee Brown present Medical Mindshare. Medical Mindshare has been designed to deliver integrative care and precision medicine throughout the community. Discover a more personalized path to wellness. Some people might ask, why is integrative care up and coming medically? Our answer is that integrative care can be tailored to your specific needs and goals. Integrative care considers mindfulness as a modality and many other alternative therapies amongst traditional medicine. Another feature of Medical Mindshare is enhanced recovery and rapid healing. It's always at the forefront of our mind so that you can experience accelerated healing and a reduction of symptoms. Contact us today to schedule a consultation.
Renee Brown and her husband, Michael, have really taken it to a next level, but we're going to take anxiety now to the next level. I think about what Les Brown talks about when he said, it is necessary for you to do what only you can do. Do it like your life depends on it, because it does. Let's peel off the onion, shall we, with this amazing cadre. I'm just going to say, Dr. Glenn, Dr. Mike, and Dr. Bill, if you will. I think that Mike is oh, there he is. I had this great time, Dr. Bill, if you will. And we'll never figure out why this sickness happens with you, Glenn, but it's way okay. I'm just glad you are here. So, Glenn, take us to the next level of what you feel in your heart and mind. I'm just thinking about you with everything that you do, being a world-renowned trainer everywhere you go, everywhere. And I always see a picture of you smiling and, oh, I'm going to Chicago. Oh, it got delayed. Oh, I'm golfing. You always have this look on your face. So maybe there's something that you are doing and being in that you want to share as well. So the next 7 minutes is yours, Dr. Glenn. Thanks for working us in.
No, absolutely. Well, and kind of, there are three things that I was thinking about to talk about today. And the number one, you had a good lead in earlier where you mentioned about like the stress is really kind of how we perceive it. I don't remember the exact word you said, but it's, because the reality is stress happens to all of us. And stress is something like, it cracks me up when people say, oh, I'm going to eliminate my stress. Well, good luck with that. You don't eliminate stress. I mean, because stress, heck, even gravity on our body, even like having your collar fixed wrong. Like there's even gravity on your body is stress to your body, right? We can't get rid of stress. We can't get away from it. But the big thing for everybody is to be really think of it from a difference of like being a cause or being an effect. Like, because stressful things happen. And what I'm always sharing with my clients and how I live my life is that it's not the stresses that's the problem. It's how we perceive the stress and what we do with the stress. That is really the problem. We could all just perceive stress as just a tool for learning. We can perceive stress as, oh, there's something I don't like about this situation. I can create a new action, or I can leave this situation. Yeah, but I want everybody to just recognize that we're all empowered for the level of stress that we allow in our lives, regardless of what's happening. Yeah, so that's one aspect. I'm not going to be like, if Renee was here, she'd be the expert in getting into all the tools of that. But everybody, if you could just recognize the level of control that you have over stress in your life. Not that stress will go away, but again, how you perceive it and what you do with it. The second thing, and I'm just going to share a couple of things that I do in my life on a regular basis, because I'm one of the most easygoing people I know. And you're right, Jody. I'm smiling all the time. You know why? Because I'm happy all the time. Yeah, and if something happens like in a moment that changes that smile for me, as quickly as I can, I get back into that. And one of the ways that I do this, and I've been doing this since 2001, we can all remember 9/11. It was a big moment in our country. And it was during 9/11 that I recognized how bad I was being sucked into the news and how the news was just tearing me down. It was pulling me under. And that's when I stopped watching the news. So it's been over 24 years now that I've not been a news watcher. And to me, that's a big part of why I can remain happy on a regular basis, because honestly, when is the news giving you any good news? When is the news really celebrating anything? It's just a bunch of rhetoric about really all the terrible things that are happening in this world, or that aren't even really happening, but they are really being told like they're happening, right? And it's like when we think of the news, also thinking of all the different ways we get information. For most people's watching the news and social media. Don't click on something that aggravates you. Like, people say, oh my God, Facebook is terrible. It just gives all this bad news. I'm like, well, that's because you click on the bad news. I only click on things that are really empower me. And when you go to my Facebook feed, it's a bunch of awesome things on my Facebook feed. And we're all in control over that. Those are simple algorithms on social media, no matter what social media that you're on. So stop clicking on the bad news. Start looking for the good news. Start clicking on the good news. Start putting good news out there yourself. And you'd be amazed at how that changes. Like 2 simple things: change the way you use social media, and get off the news. It's not like if something, honestly, there's times where somebody will mention me, oh, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? And I was like, no, because I don't watch the news. Yet somebody's always telling me. It's not like I miss out on what's going on in the world, right? And the third thing that I want to share from a more functional standpoint, this is something I take every day, is a very common deficiency. Some research says at least 80% of adult Americans are deficient in magnesium. And why this is such a big deal is because magnesium stimulates the parasympathetic activity. And for those who don't get that, basically magnesium helps to support and stimulate the relaxed side of your nervous system. And because I work with hormones all the time with my clients, what I'm always explaining to clients, because most people think, oh, well, your response to stress is your adrenals and cortisol. It is a response to stress, but your first response to stress is always your brain. Your brain is always the first responder to stress. And so the magnesium that I choose to take, and there's multiple different types of good quality forms of magnesium, but the one that I take is called L-threonate, because L-threonate has been shown to actually cross the blood-brain barrier and get into the brain. So if you put the pieces of the puzzle together, you're this person walking around all day with this like stressed out brain because of all the circumstances and how you're perceiving them and reacting to them. And then that's got a sympathetic or a stress response in your brain. And you take a form of magnesium that supports the relaxed side. That's a game changer for people. So if you can do those 3 things, if you can get off the news, or let's even say get off the bad news, start clicking on things that you love that are empowering for you on whatever social media you consume, and take magnesium L-threonate once a day, and just those 3 things can significantly shift what's going on. And then you could be like me, just smiling everywhere you go, because that's what we have the power to be. Every single one of us. I'm not special. Bill will tell you that.
We can all be like Dr. Glenn. I was going to say,
it was nice you didn't wear your helmet on this show.
those trilateral hormonal access that you can do. It fits that your magnesium would be L-threonate. And so we have another thing that we can say. I'm Dr. Glenn Depke, and I have been 24 years news sober. I love it.
I love it too, man. I don't miss a thing. I'll tell you that.
No, you don't. And we're not going to miss a thing by bringing in Glenn. And I know that you've got to go, and Mike worked himself in with his client. And I will just say that it's not what happens to you. We're missing you, Renee. I know you're watching. You made a comment just now. She got rear-ended by a car, and so she needs some anti-inflammatories from you. I told her about some meditation. She's going to get some acupuncture. Wish we could give her some of you down or up, I guess, in Utah, and a wonderful chiropractic treatment from Bill. But let's just send her our big enthusiasm and brains. But I'll tell you, going into what Mike is doing now in this beautiful way that he has brought himself up with this breath work, he's got a thing. I'm just going to put it up right now about this 90 breath work. And by the way, you're all in Aruba. There's no Dr. and I'm going to lead in before we do. You're going to see the replay. I know when people say, oh, well, this is like our home movies. Okay. You know what people said? It was galactic. And what was it? It had an energy feel like none other. So let's just, before I bring Mike up, and so at least it's not halfway around the world this time, but our Recreate prize from Creek Breeze. Take a look, take a listen, and thank you, Robert Towns of Tri-City Productions, Titan Productions. You're amazing. And yes, I really did. Go ahead, guys. I really did swim 1,000 from the cliff I jumped off and went over to the Mediterranean Sea because I had to be like Mike. So take it away, Mike, about everything that you know from the breath to the sea. It's all good, you see. Oh, that was a good rhyme. I think I'm getting back into it. So it's all about you now, Mike. Take it away for your. Oh, no, maybe I'm a little rusty
I'm
on
good.
this thing. I really am. I'll bring you up this time around. Mike, you're right there. Thanks.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Yeah, great introduction by Glenn. He mentioned magnesium and the parasympathetic system. So I want to talk a little bit more about our nervous system because our nervous system is our switchboard. We decide whether we're going to go in flight or fight or in freeze or in fawn or whatever. And so if we learn to master our nervous system, that's where we can regulate any types of stress, anxiety, and any type of emotion, right? So that's the first thing we need to understand, that we can control our nervous system. Because when we have, things like anxiety, it means we are affected by the outside world. And in an ideal world, we're completely centered. And so it's okay to be in sympathetic, because when you're excited, you're in sympathetic. When you're exercising, you're in sympathetic. But most people in modern society stay stuck in that sympathetic. They're overthinking, they're overworking, and they're going, going, going. And that's what creates disease. That's what creates mental illnesses, anxiety, depression, etc. So what we need to learn to do is move fluently and flow between those nervous systems, but always be able to come back to the parasympathetic, to the rest and digest. And most people don't know how to get out of that sympathetic state into that rest and digest and that peaceful state, which we call parasympathetic, right? And so short-term tools are very effective to apply in situations that happen now. If you have to go on stage, if you have to get into a meeting, if you have to do something important, you can get that nervous system balanced for more focus, etc. But then there's also long-term tools, because in the long term, we don't want to be triggered. We want to be centered. And so we need to increase the capacity of our nervous system. Now, it does happen that there are several tools, but breathwork is one of the more important and effective tools to manage as well the short-term as long-term mastery of that nervous system, because our breath itself is part of the autonomic nervous system. We don't have to think about breathing, as we don't have to think about digesting, creating hormones and things like that. But it's the only part of the autonomic nervous system that we can control, that we can influence. We can speed it up, we can inhale deeper, we can hold our breath, so we can influence it. And so the breath is regarded as the bridge between all the nervous systems. We can affect and control or manage our central nervous system, our autonomic nervous system, and even our somatic nervous system simply with our breath. So to just give the viewers a few simple things to get started with is the short-term tools when it comes to breath. Anytime we're stressed, we're anxious, we simply can go return to our breath and make sure we exhale longer than we inhale. For example, we can take 3 counts in through the nose, 3 and 5 or 6 out through the mouth. And if we do that for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, we automatically go from sympathetic, high blood pressure, higher heart rate, being excited, being stressed, into parasympathetic, because the breath regulates or activates the vagus nerve, right? And when we activate the vagus nerve, we can move in between the nervous systems from sympathetic to parasympathetic. Another one that everybody heard about is box breathing. Box breathing helps you get into the present moment and also kind of get you back to that more normal state or parasympathetic state. So box breathing is, for example, 4 counts in, then you hold for 4 counts, 4 counts out, and you hold for 4 counts. So those are 2 very easy breath exercises to use in situations where you need to put out the fire and calm down to do that. Another few examples would be humming, like again, it's the ventral vagal nerve that you regulate to go from sympathetic to parasympathetic. Even singing, especially if you're in the car by yourself or in the shower, Singing also stimulates that ventral vagal nerve to get you into that parasympathetic system. So those are short-term tools that you always have with you. And so instead of reacting to the traffic, reacting to your boss or your colleague that said something that triggers you, just step away and, do that breath work or do that humming or start singing a little bit in your car, right? So those are things, short-term tools. But in the long term, we need to do a better job because we don't want to always use tools. It's like in medicine, putting on a Band-Aid. That's not really the long-term goal. The long-term goal is to be centered and not be triggered by anything in the external environment, whether it's people and whether it's situations. And therefore, we need to do daily breath work, and we also need to work on ourselves because we all have what we call, triggers. And those triggers come from our attachment style, and those attachment styles comes from what happened to us during our youth, during our upbringing, our childhood. And so we all have our triggers. And so when people trigger you, instead of pointing fingers at them, ask yourself, why am I triggered? What is it in me that makes me upset or anxious or depressed or wanting to fight or frustrated? And so the people around you, you need to mirror them. You need to ask yourself, why does this person always trigger me in this situation? Reflect back and start working on your triggers. And when we get rid of all the triggers and the external environment doesn't affect us, then we are centered, meaning we can easily, just like Glenn said too, we don't want to be stuck in a centered position because everything needs to flow. We need to flow between sympathetic, parasympathetic, and all the nervous system. But if you create capacity, we can easily center our back and get out of those states. We never want to be stuck in one specific nervous system. We never want to be stuck in freeze. We never want to be stuck in sympathetic. We never want to be stuck in parasympathetic all the time, right? We need to learn to move in and out of nervous system. And breath work is one of the tools that are very effective to do that. And when it comes to anxiety, it's the same thing. It's number one, it's a trigger from the external environment that we need to increase capacity for. And number two, anxiety is something we're living in the future, right? So we're not present in the moment. If we're present in the moment, there shouldn't be any anxiety because we're right here, right now, and there shouldn't be any worry about the future. So I think regulating the nervous system and practicing to be present in the moment are two keys to resolve short-term issues, but also increase your capacity and become more centered as a human being.
Well, and I just want everybody to see this AFF.9D breathwork.app.r/r app /Mike Van Vliet. If you can take a screenshot of this, it's MVT, which is Mike's initials. M is in Mary, D is in David, T.com. I'll tell you something. The 90 breathwork, when I did a session right after my husband Bob graduated for heaven, it made it all the difference in the world. And death is kind of right up there, especially if it's a soulmate. And I highly recommend it for anything for anxiety. Thank you, Mike, for stepping out of your clinic and stepping in to give us this wisdom. And now I'm going to go wisdom. Did I say it was Glenn, Mike, and Bill, if you will? Give us your wisdom, please, Dr. Bill, because there is so much of what you give to the world. And you do it in such a way that you say, oh, how did that just happen? Well, that's what he does. He just makes it happen. And thank you for making it happen as we're happening right now with, I'm going to call it the beautiful ADHD way that you do your work.
Well, we are doing the same thing, anxiety. And I love coming up and just riding the tide and riding the wake of Mike and Glenn every week because it makes it really easy for me. Because everything we've talked about is universal with anxiety. And I think the first thing that we've got to do is reframe the word. People are so apt to, I have anxiety. The doctors love putting, general anxiety disorder. you're a snowflake, you poor little thing, everything else that's going on there. And I'm half being flippant about it because there's so many weak people now that we've created, largely not the fault, but because of the environment's going on. But once you have that label on you, you go, and then a lot of people just give up. They go, well, I have anxiety. I can't, I would love to do all that stuff, but I have anxiety. So, it just relegates me to this corner over here, and I'm going to live my life in this bowl. And anxiety has definitely increased by what anxiety comes from anxious. And I was thinking about the words, and I'm like, when I remember back in the old days when I was a kid, it was, if I was anxious about something, I was looking forward to it. It's Christmas. I'm anxious about, Christmas coming, my birthday, whatever it was more exciting. And it goes back to the same principle, what Glenn said. It's not so much what happens to you, because shit's going to happen all the time. That's how you know you're alive. But it's like, what is happening to me? Oh, there's traffic. Oh, I got more time to listen to Jody's podcast. Or
Dr. Bill, because he's so awesome. I'm going to just totally interrupt you. What is, because I don't have it on my screen because I've had 3 weeks off. What is your URL for your podcast, please?
It's the Conquering Stress podcast.
Okay. I think that would be a good one to put on up here. So keep going. You're on a roll. Okay.
Yeah. I'll just keep rolling around. But in general, it's just like Glenn. So I copy everything Glenn does because it's just easier than thinking for myself. So the same thing right after, it was after 9/11, because I waited for all the patriotism to die down after the 2 weeks, and then the evil started coming in. I just listened to local news to find out what the traffic and the sports score was and the weather. And then they started sneaking stuff in there. And then 2016, when it was really ugly, there was nothing good on there. And my algorithm was creating stress, and it really dented my tinfoil hat. And you can't have that as a good conspiracy theorist. So I don't listen to the news either, because if there's something significant, I'll hear about it, then I'll investigate. But I don't want anybody throwing things into my life that are going to create issues for me. And Glenn's exactly right. You create your own algorithm. Actually, on social media, YouTube and the like, because the powers that be are creating that. And I suspect they actually did that, one, to sell more stuff that you like, but to keep you engaged. But we have algorithms with our work and our family and our friends and everything else, because, you're the average of the 5 people that you hang out with the most, is because you're talking about the things that you guys agree on. So you create that. And I've always said that I don't believe you can change the world, but I know that you can change your world. And since it's all perception of what you're doing, then get up and create the world that you want. So with all the cool hippie meme stuff that I just said, the physical stuff that you have to take care of is the foundations that we always talk about. Again, stolen from Glenn, and he's going to be leaving early soon, so it doesn't really matter. Mike was on here with breath work. We've got to breathe, we've got to drink, we've got to eat, we've got to sleep, we've got to move, we've got to poo-poo, we've got to get out in some sun. And those are non-negotiables. Those are what you have to do to be alive. Any deficiency in any one of those leaves you physiologically open to be triggered. Now, you add in, oh my God, we could talk for years about the food or the food-like substances that are sold most of the time, where we actually have to put in effort to go find out stuff that's not crap, that's killing our bodies. And then, you have all the underlying things, the low-grading inflammation, the infections Glenn finds all the time over here, the dysregulated autonomic system, and you couple that with somebody that's sitting all day, breathing shallow, not sleeping, not moving, and kind of locked in a cave, anything's going to trigger that person. And then you go to the social aspect on that, is that we've just created weak people. For some reason, people think that they have to be comfortable all the time. And if they're not comfortable, it's sad. And I don't want it to be like this. And they call it something negative because their brain says that. The body goes, oh, we're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger? I need to have this physiological response. And when you lower the bar on what triggers you, everybody has triggers now. We used to just call them like, oh, this is Tuesday. This is what happens on Tuesday. You buckle up and you get on with your life. There's some people, yes, who have some deep-rooted traumas, their subconscious, bad childhood and things like that, definitely need work. And my heart always goes out for them because they literally never really learned what the baseline was. So they've lived with this and they don't know anything else. They need a lot of work, and they should have every aspect of doing that. But for a large majority of what's going on now, it's created. And going back to control, if you've created something negative, you can also create something positive. It's a journey. You got to go clean up your physiological stuff, your neurological stuff, your way of thinking, your friends. It's those, I love the hero's journey. It's people taking that journey. It's just saying that, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And they go off and they started investing the same energy on looking for things to trigger them of why the man is keeping them down. And they're going to go like, well, I'm the man and I'm keeping me up, and I'm going to surround myself with people like on this podcast and Glenn that that'll come back over and light me up. I'm going to create my own algorithm that when I wake up in the morning and I see that sunshine going, I'm thinking, thank you, Lord, for this beautiful day that you've given me. Thank you for my two arms that I'm breathing and I'm living, and nothing's going to stop me in doing what I'm supposed to be doing today. And if you start out in that world, your world, the arrows aren't so sharp. And, we all get stress. And you worry about things, but
Yes.
it's a reframe of what you're going. The life is never meant to be perfect, and if it was, you'd be bored.
This is true.
So if there's no valleys, the view's not so great from the peaks. When I look at when I'm out at Glenn's house and I'll go out his backyard and from his mansion overlooking all the cities around us. And I look over there.
I knew Glenn had a mansion. He's just a mansion kind of guy.
Yeah. That's the way he rolls. He has standards and he keeps them up. I sneak in the back and I'll sneak out when he's barbecuing and I can look at that. I can see the inside of his house from his windows. I'm not allowed in, but aside from that, but if there was no trailer park like where I live, I wouldn't be so impressed by Glenn's mansion. So we would just be sharing double wides otherwise. So if you look back at what the stressors in being uncomfortable means, there's always been something cool that came out of it. It always sucks in the middle, but if you remind yourself that we have 100% survival rate from stress.
Yes, true.
And if you just keep going, and it's not easy to do all the time, but it's a fact. And if you keep grounding yourself or going back into that beacon where you start, you'll tend not to have these things. And, you definitely have to clean up your physiology. I like breakfast. All I saw on Mike's link was AF, breathing AF. And I'm like, what a kick-ass thing. It was AFF. So it was very interesting. But breath is the first thing, because out of the foundations, you need that the most frequently.
It's AFF.9. So
Yeah.
nine,
So if it has two F's, it means it's double bitching.
yes, exactly. And I'll tell you the one thing that I wanted to share with us all, and I'm so happy that we're going to get to do a round robin. I'll let you do your deal, Glenn, for sure. When I'm done here, I think it's an echo from Greece. I'm not sure what maybe that is, but I'm just going to go here and then I'll unmute. It's so me. I don't have anxiety. I just came back from Greece. The echo is me for some reason, as we were talking about. But I will say you don't have to go to Greece to go ahead and have it be amazing and be de-stressed. And that was nice and it was wonderful. But you saw pictures of the palatial, and yes, the resort was built into the cliff. Did I say built in? It was built into the cliff. My massage therapist said to me, he said, I know you've been away for 2 weeks in Greece. And I also know that your thighs feel like you've been doing a Stairmaster for an hour. I said, because I have. I've been doing a Stairmaster for an hour because I've been in the cliffs of Greece. But I want to share about this with you. You don't have to be in that amazing where we did our meditation overlooking the Mediterranean Ocean. It was kind of nice to go in with that parasympathetic side. I'm diving in, Bill. I didn't jump because I've been paralyzed once from the shoulders on down. I'm not doing it again. But jumping off that cliff was pretty cool, and then swimming around that cliff to come into the alcove, and I'm living proof I did it. Everybody saw me. We got it on the video. But what I'm going to say, why can't we be like those cats? Cats were everywhere. If you've been to Key West, there's the roosters. You hear cock-a-doodle-doo, and you hear this. And what did we hear when we got up from Crete? Meow, 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 meow. So yeah, let's be like an animal. If you're feeling stressed, Dr. Mike always says this, be like the lion. If you're diseased, go back into the lion's den and get well. That's what meditation. And I had a situation getting back that I was, if you both are world travelers, I'm so not. I landed in Gatwick and I had to take off in Heathrow. Oops. During rush hour. Oops. Well, it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond. And I'm going, okay, I knew this was going to happen. So I did meditation, big time meditation for 45 minutes before we landed in Gatwick. There's something about doing it 30,000 feet above the ground. I mean, seriously, it got me in such a great space. Missed my connection in JFK. Oh, well. I had to spend the night in at an airport. Oh, well, I now can sleep, gentlemen. I can sleep standing on my head, I think. But the idea is that I took that meditation. We've heard such great tips about breath work. I will say another quick deal. If you go like this, but with your hands like this is my go-to. This is my wings. When this is a tool for breath work. And I go, and this is my flying anxiety. I mean, it works. All of a sudden, you open up that heart chakra. Yeah. You open up that heart chakra. It worked. And I came back, of course, with nutrition. I used V-Guard on the plane, used one when I came back, and all. You've probably seen my cankles after it should have been 18 hours was 32. Well, my cankles now then look like ankles. And I have the honor, and we're going to see this because Glenn, I want to hear your share. I know you've got to go to just do this round robin. We'll have our other commercial with Princess Maradian, who will now be crowned queen. She is going to be, her father passed away. She's going to be the queen of Nigeria the first week in December. So I'm going back after 2 weeks to Dubai. I'm her mistress of ceremonies for the First Ladies Forum. What do you think I'm going to do? Do my meditation, take my magnesium, do my breath work. Think about that. I don't have to be around all the crazies, and I can think about Bill's hippie words, and I'm not going to listen to news. I'm now news sober. I'm going to have a social media shift and just be like Bill. He just puts fun things out there. And then we just learn how to be, because at the end of the day, now, as Mike said, if we think about, but we anticipate, I want to say that one thing, we anticipate it being fun. What is the future going to unfold? It's not with dread, because now spelled backwards is one. So Glenn, what is your final word? And thanks guys for being here. You guys are awesome.
Well, my final word is a recognition. This is what I found in my life, because I wasn't always like this. I used to be, I grew up kind of a type A, high strung, even like sometimes borderline violently reactive person. And I had to change that. And I did change that. And what I'll help, maybe what I've recognized will help some, even if this helps one person, if you're the person watching this, it helps you. The more I focus on being happy in every moment and perceiving my stress in a healthy way and responding to it in a healthy way, the happier I am, the more happy things just come to me naturally. Like it's like some people are the, yeah, and we all know somebody like this. Bad things happen to them all the time. Well, you have to think then, how are you responding to all these things? Because it creates that energy of the happiness, of the empowerment of, and then happy and empowering things come to you. And I think this is like the one of the best things that everybody can do is just to, again, perceive and respond to their stress in a very healthy and empowering way, and then see all the other amazing things come into your life from there.
Yes, and you are amazing, Dr. Glenn. I want to give our date before I go to Dr. Bill. We will be here December 11th. I love the 11 number. That's kind of huge. And we're going to have that 11 number because y'all are angels. That will be our holiday, our broadcast. Do you believe that we've made it to another year? And before you go, Glenn, I've just got to give you, we have our we did recreate, renew, restore, and create. Well, it's going to be awareness, alignment, and abundance. And you three have, with Mike being not here right now and Renee being 4, have created that in my life. But I thought this would be a nice parlay to you, Bill, with alignment. I brought the chiropractic trip in there, and it's so mark your calendars for March 22nd to 29th. We've got a very great 50% off early bird price on that. And yes, that was an ad. Bill, over to you.
Well, I was just looking at Aruba. That's a beautiful place. I love it there. I'll attest. Glenn's always like that. Glenn is probably one of the most unperturbed people that I know, and I know because like I make it a point to try to perturb him, just as a hobby in general, but just to see what else is going on. But the other thing that I try to do, and I know that Glenn tries to do, is after a while, it's not work. Like people get addicted to that feeling. And if you do the best you can, you go like, yeah, you know what? Traffic, there's, what can you do? In the big scheme of life, you're going to skip over it and you're going to forget about it in, a week. And if that's going to happen, just forget about it now, or just don't react, or teaching you something and you've learned something. And then the other thing is just go out and focus on your body and get those foundations down. Everything else will fall in place. If you pick up new habits, new people around you, you're going to get a new result. And you get to choose the result, because like I said, if you do nothing, or if you just let life surf through you, you're going to get weaker and weaker and weaker. And I mean, mentally and physically, and that's no way to live a life. You can exist for a while, but I don't think anybody really wants that.
And we want, I know people want what you have. And I know that you can go to depkeywellness.com. You can go and the quintessential Yorba Linda practice. It's like the podcast is, I have referred many a client, patient of mine out to Dr. Glenn, because he really does get it with the trimonal, the trimonal the tri-hormonal axis. I'll get it right if I try it the third time. Conquering Stress podcast. Make sure you look at Dr. Mike's 9 deep breath work and come with it and align and be aware and be abundant in Aruba. But I will tell you, it's just like, I didn't know I was going to Dubai, guys. Well, I am, and this is what we're doing. It's the First Ladies Forum. I've learned this from you, Bill and Glenn, because it's going to be the First Lady of France, the First Lady of Ghana, the First Lady of India. Oh, and I said, oh, I want to be the First Lady of something somewhere. And this is a Bill line. You can say, I'm now going to be introduced as the First Lady of Howie and the Hills.
Of course you are.
Yes, and somewhere in the middle of the Indian Ocean or the Caribbean, there'll be now a small town of Howie in the Hills on the island of Howie de Leon. Don't you think? I think we've got some legs with this. But take a look, take a listen. I am honored to be a part of this, and knowing that
the voltage of hyping, the party. I'm the life of the party. Turn it up. You cannot ginger, you ginger yourself. Nobody clap for yourself. You don't try for yourself. See many battles when you win by yourself. Hey, take a look at yourself. You should be proud of yourself. Wait, you came true for yourself. Hey, you can't cap by yourself. Oh yeah, appreciate yourself. Oh yeah, now say I tell her for yourself. Oh yeah, appreciate yourself. Oh yeah, now say I tell her for yourself. The reason I did ginger myself, okay, now because I come true for myself. I like that. Wait, the reason I did ginger myself, that's right, now because I come.
This goes pretty long, but the reason I put that on there because she said, "Oh, I control myself. I'm going to reach out out of myself." Isn't that anxiety? So I will just say, if you're anywhere from plane, train, automobile, I think I'm going to be taking many of these, getting over there on Saturday, but I'm looking forward to it. And I tell you what, just know you can go to the First Ladies Forum. And it's always take that QR code up there and know that there are going to be many of a shake there, or as Bob Bear would say, shake, shake, shake and hold it. I know I'm going to be practicing my alphabet, but more than anything, all respect aside, I really applaud what Princess has done in her 20 years of taking a woman that she saw that was dying from breast cancer, nursing her 2-month-old, she said maybe 3-month-old baby on the side of the road. And she said, something's got to change. And now it's a global movement. So I'm honored to be a part of that. But Bill, more than anything, I'm just glad that I can say, I remember when you did my podcast that was just off the chain. It's still one of my favorite ones. And guess what you did? And I'll end with this. I said, would you like to just do something like once a month? And you said, what would be a Bill thing? What did you say to me?
I don't know, probably yes, or I have nothing else going on, or it sounds like fun.
Cool. Yeah, sounds like fun. Cool.
Or whatever you do, don't include Glenn. It was probably that was the only stipulation, which you just broke through that. Which, by the way, he left because you were showing pictures of people that had better dresses than he does.
Oh, there you go. And I'm all tanned up. I'm ready to go. And you are just, the fact that you guys are best buds, it just shows. But just in this day and in every day, just remember, life happens, stuff happens. You get to choose. So in each and every day, Bill, I want to honor you for hanging around. So I didn't feel like everybody left me. So it looked like I did a bad broadcast. But and thank you, Mike. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Bill, for finding time in your schedule. Healing prayers to you, Renee. But as we say, in each and every day and each and every way, there's a word that Renee says in that. She said it's Healthopedia because it's happy. Because we go out the HAP tribe, we are happy. And so let's make this a happy kind of healthopedia kind of day. Ciao for now.
Woman up, pull it together. Where's the tough